Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 4. And first things first, this little Sutton hate train, let's make Sutton the punching bag for this season, is not going to work over here. Crystal, while I've always been indifferent about you, I could take you or leave you, you don't bring a whole lot to this franchise. I was on your side in last week's episode, but in this week's episode, you tried it. I was glad that Garcelle got into your behind and said, sis, either say what was said or leave it on the playground. But you throwing these allegations out here and then saying, well, you know what? I just don't want to say it. I don't want to go there. That's not going to fly. But before we get into this recap, I do have to give a huge thank you to my friends over at Dossier. So once again, thank you so much to my friends over at Dossier. You guys know that as a Dossier ambassador, they send me brand new scents at the beginning of each month. And June's fragrances are floral grapefruit and fruity almond. And without further ado, let's just jump right on into checking out these brand new scents. So I'm going to start it off with the floral grapefruit. The top notes in this fragrance are grapefruit pear, musks, and amberwood. And already I'm falling in love because I love a floral fragrance, okay? Especially in the summertime. And the floral grapefruit is inspired by Chanel Chance. Now, Chanel Chance is one of my favorite scents. I have that one. I wear it often. So I'm very excited to try the floral grapefruit out, okay? And here is the floral grapefruit. Again, I love Dossier's packaging, nice and clean. So I'm gonna spritz on my left wrist. Here we go. Love it. This smells exactly like Chance by Chanel. This is definitely going to be an instant favorite of mine. Like I've told you guys many times before, Dossier has not missed yet. I have loved every single fragrance that they have sent me, and the floral grapefruit is about to be another one that's going to be in constant rotation. And now next up is the fruity almond, and the top notes in the fruity almond, almond peach, tonka bean, vanilla, and cocoa. So I'm super excited to try this one. I love almonds, by the way. And this scent was inspired by Carolina Herrera, Good Girl. And I know that that's also a very popular scent. I don't have that fragrance, but I've heard a lot of good things from friends who do own it. And here's the fruity almond. All right, now I'm going to spritz on my right wrist. Here we go. Ooh, I like the fruity almond. Definitely going to be another favorite. You can smell all the top notes. Nice and sweet, also light, not too heavy. Another perfect scent for the summertime. Now, if you want to smell amazing for the summertime, okay, and be outside, definitely hit the link down below in my description box. Go on Dossier's website and pick out the perfect fragrance for you. I promise you guys will not be disappointed. Again, they have not missed. They always understand the assignment, and I've loved every single scent that they've sent me. But with all that being said, y'all, let's just jump right on into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. So we start the episode off with the ladies still in La Quinta, and they're at Kyle's La Quinta house. Everybody except for Sutton, Diana, and Crystal. They're at the resort. So they all sit down to discuss what the F happened last night. Why was Crystal so triggered? Why was she crying? Why was she saying that she doesn't feel safe in this group? So Garcelle says, well, I actually texted her last night, and she pretty much told me that she feels like y'all disregard her feelings. Like you guys just don't care. And they don't care. We know that. We know how Kyle is. Kyle likes to pretend like she's such a good person, like she cares so much, but she's a phony. So now here goes Kyle yet again, talking about how confused she was by Crystal's reactions, how there has to be more to this, and how maybe it's because Crystal feels like they're all paying more attention to Dorit's feelings with the whole robbery than they are with Crystal's feelings. So now Garcelle says, look, I'm going to do you guys one better. I'm going to call Crystal so that she can come over here and explain how she feels so that we don't have to speculate anymore. So now Garcelle calls Crystal. She goes back inside the house and they're still outside on the patio. So, of course, while Garcelle's talking to Crystal, you have Kyle, Rinna, Erica, and Dorit trying to eavesdrop. I'm like, why can't y'all mind your business? You guys just can't help yourself. Resume with the conversation that you guys were having. Why do you need to listen to what Crystal's telling Garcelle? I can't stand people who eavesdrop. That's a pet peeve of mine. And if I were Garcelle, I would have gone upstairs and had the conversation. I wouldn't have sat, a few feet away from them. I would have gone upstairs. Y'all don't need to hear what I'm saying. We hear Garcelle pretty much begging Crystal to come to the house, explain how she felt, and to try to make peace before they leave La Quinta. So now Crystal's like, okay, you know what? Fine, I'll be over there in 10 minutes. Garcelle walks back. She lets them know that Crystal will be over to explain her side of things. So while they're waiting for Crystal to show up, Kyle brings up the last time they were in La Quinta a year ago and all the drama that went down with Erica. So now Erica says, yeah, and I just want to say to you guys, thank you so much for putting up for what a wild animal I was last year. And we see the whole montage of her cursing everybody out, screaming at people, all that stuff. Now, me personally, I would never speak to Erica again because there's no way that you're going to curse at me, call me everything but a child of God, and then think that I'm going to sit there and take it. And just because you're going through something that's very difficult, that doesn't give you the right to treat people like crap. I really get tired of people using that as an excuse. And I promise you, if you were on another franchise, you wouldn't be acting like that. Because could you imagine Erica going toe-to-toe and lashing out on Teresa Giudice in New Jersey? Or if she's trying to pull that on Atlanta or Potomac? Erica knows who to try and who not to try. Because like I've said, if she were on a different franchise, it would be lights out if she pulled half the stunts that she's pulled on here. I just find it so fascinating how Erica vacillates between being the victim and the villain at the same time. You can't be both, sis. Pick a side and stay there. So while Erica's going on her long diatribe about how things have been so hard and this whole entire case has been all-encompassing, Garcelle interjects and says, but Erica, you weren't displaying any compassion for the victims. So Erica says, not so fast. The reason why I didn't say anything was because in a legal case like this, every word can be used against you. You honestly don't care. Let's call it what it is. You're upset about how your lifestyle has fallen apart, how you can't go to Neiman Marcus every other day and spend it up. You're upset that there's no more private jet, there are no more yachts, there's no more Black American Express card that you can't charge, $1 million a month on. You're upset about that. You could care less about these people who lost everything messing with your husband. I don't think that Erica has the capacity to care about anybody but herself. And that's the real reason why we didn't see any compassion towards these victims, because she has none. Now, to add insult to injury, Erica also adds that she's not sure that the victims weren't paid. They could be lying. So I said, you can say this on national TV, but you couldn't show any empathy or compassion or concern about these people not getting their money. So that makes sense for those words to come out of your mouth, but not showing some care and concern. Got it. Like, how dumb are you? Did y'all see everybody's facial expressions when she said that? They were all looking at her like, girl, what? And I loved how Garcelle said, girl, no way. I don't think that anybody in their right mind would lie about not getting their settlement money from your husband. Like, these are all regular working people. What would they gain from doing that? If I'm being very transparent with y'all, I can't stand Erica Jane. I find her to be very evil. I think she's heartless. I think she's soulless. And for her to even suggest something like that is disgusting. Now we flip to a short scene with Sutton and Diana at the resort. They're having some breakfast in Sutton's room. Sutton had a nice spread. She had bagels, lox, bacon, eggs. I mean, chef's kiss, okay? That's how you do it. Now, let me just quickly say this. There is no way in the world that me and Diana would be breaking bread after she had called me weird and all these other names the night before. No, ma'am. And I also found it strange that Sutton didn't call Diana out. Like, can we talk about last night? Why were you calling me weird? Why were you saying all that about me? Like, that's not cool. I just feel like Sutton lets a lot of things slide. And not to be super petty, but I always felt a type of way at Sutton being annoyed at Garcelle when Garcelle asked her how she got her money. Was she born into money or did she marry into it? And Sutton calls her out and says, I didn't appreciate when you asked me that, like that wasn't cool. It's like, well, why can you call Garcelle out, but when it comes to these other women cursing you out and saying all this stuff to you, you don't say anything? And Sutton, I like you and all, sis, but that always just stuck out to me. Like, you had a lot of mouth with Garcelle when she asked you about your money, but with Erica cursing you out, Kyle throwing you under the bus, you don't have too much to say. Just saying. And honestly, this scene with Sutton and Diana was like a throwaway scene. They weren't really talking about anything. Diana talking about what triggers her. I was like, girl, as nasty as you are, I really don't care. So now we jump back over to the rest of the women at Kyle's house. Crystal has finally arrived, and she is there to speak her piece. So already, Crystal is about to cry. Like, she can't even talk. Doris, like, take your time, my darling. Like, take your time. We want to hear what you have to say loud and clear. So she goes on to say that it's not easy to pour her heart out to them and how they made the focus into something else instead of how she felt. So now Garcelle interjects and says, but you said last night that you don't feel safe in this group. Why is that? Now Dorit says in her confessional that it's pretty insulting for Crystal to say that she doesn't feel safe just because some women don't agree with her viewpoint. And I said, now hold on, Dorit, because last season you were throwing out microaggressions to Garcelle, calling Garcelle a bully. So not too much from you, sis. Not too much. So as the ladies are listening to Crystal and they're trying to get to the bottom of why she feels the way she feels, Kyle interrupts and says that she's a fixer. And when Garcelle interrupted her and said, now sis, let's not. Now here's where things get really messy. When I tell you that Garcelle understood the assignment, Mama said she is clocking into work and doing her job. Garcelle says, look, can I just say something? I know it might be explosive, but I have to ask you, Crystal, when you kept asking Sutton repeatedly last year if she was that girl who didn't see color, were you trying to back her into a corner? Like, why'd you keep asking her that? It seemed like you wanted to paint her in a bad light. So now Crystal's upset with Garcelle for even asking that. And now since she's on the defense, she decides to throw out some claims that Sutton actually said something that was a lot more dark than they even know about. So now they're all like, girl, what? Like, what did she say? Erica says, well, I wish that we had known that beforehand. It's like, Erica, girl, shut up. You have bigger fish to fry than worrying about Sutton. I don't care how unbothered Erica tries to act like she is. Every single time Sutton's name has been brought up, she is always the first one trying to drag Sutton's name through the mud. If you truly are indifferent about somebody, if their name gets brought up, you don't care. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Erica feels a type of way about Sutton not caring about her. She's pressed about it. So now everybody's begging Crystal to just reveal what was said. Like, what was this really awful, dark thing that Sutton said last year? Crystal's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to say it. And even Rinna was like, if that's your good friend, then why would you even throw her under the bus like that? Crystal, let me just stop right here and say that what you did was very foul. You can't throw something out there like that and then say, no, I'm not going to say it. No, you already brought it up, so say what was said. Me being a black viewer, I was looking like, well, damn, did Sutton say something? And what was it? And I immediately thought to race because they were talking about race in that conversation last year. So Crystal even insinuating that Sutton said even worse than I don't see color. My mind is like, well, did she say a slur? Did she say the N-word? Like, what did she say? And the way that Crystal was just so quick to want to end the conversation and not say what she allegedly heard, that right there was a red flag that she's not telling the truth. I could be wrong, but I'm not believing Crystal. A quick side note, I was really getting annoyed with Kyle's dogs throughout this scene. When they had the cheese platter out and the dogs were sitting up there breathing over it, eating the cheese, it was like, Kyle, why can't you put the dogs in another room? All this food going to waste because your dogs are breathing and licking the food. It's just not cool. I would have been so irritated. And she's trying to laugh it off like it's funny. It's not funny. Put the dogs in the next room. Stop having them coming around, eating and sniffing over the food. It's disgusting. And I also thought it was funny at the end of this scene, Garcelle had walked away from the conversation for a few minutes because her son had called her. And then when she came back, she was like, oh guys, guess what? My son got a new job with somebody that you know, Lisa Vanderpump. And they all got up and were like, okay, you know what, Garcelle, go home, like, bye. And it's like, y'all are the ones who ran her off the show and turned on her. How are you mad at Lisa Vanderpump? She needs to be mad at y'all. I would love for LVP to come back on the show because LVP and Garcelle actually get along. And the fact that the rest of them are on the outs with LVP and it will be Garcelle, LVP, and Sutton, the dream team versus the rest of them, that would be everything. I'd be here for it. And Lisa Vanderpump knew how to get those women together. And Kyle knows deep down in her heart that she was never that girl of this franchise, and she never will be that girl of this franchise. That title will always belong to Lisa Vanderpump. This next scene with PK and Dorit at home, we can skip right through it. It was boring. Every single time they're on my screen, it's always the same thing. Them discussing the robbery, Dorit talking about how she can't sleep, can't eat, has anxiety. I know that's sad and all, but I'm tired of hearing about it. They have about 2 more episodes before I'm officially bored of hearing about this entire robbery. Just my opinion. And you guys have me screaming in those comments because y'all keep calling her Dorit Smollett.
You know what? This is too much.
Like I told you guys in the last recap, I'm going to remain neutral about this whole robbery because I really don't want to believe that 2 grown adults nearing 50 years of age would be so desperate to set up an entire home invasion. But stranger things have happened. And the fact that you guys pointed out that PK finally paid off all his Vegas debts, it does have me wondering like, just saying. The truth will eventually come out. And if it is found out that they lied about this whole thing, they'll definitely be in a lot of trouble and they'll regret ever doing such a stunt like that. But like I said, I'm remaining neutral. I love how you guys don't believe it at all. So now we flip to the next scene. It's the day of Sutton's Parisian event, and she and her assistant are at her store to check everything out, to make sure the bartender is there, that the food is there, that the servers are there, to make sure that it's all good, okay? So mind you, the French designer Alexis Mobile is there as well, and she's super excited because he designed this haute couture dress for her. She goes in the dressing room, comes out, and it's this red dress that's $17,000. Now, I am all for couture. I love it. I saw the craftsmanship, but for some reason, I did not love this dress on Sutton. I always feel like Sutton's clothes are wearing her. I don't know what it is, but more than 80% of the time, I don't love what Sutton's wearing. Even though we, the viewers, know that Sutton spends thousands of dollars on quality pieces, the pieces just don't hit on her. I don't know what it is, but a lot of Sutton's fashion choices, I'm like, this will look better on somebody else, or Sutton's not wearing it right. It's just something is just a bit off. Now we flip to another scene with Diana getting ready at home. Her glam squad is there. She's getting her hair done, her makeup done, and she's still maintaining this lie that she has never been inside of a store. So I'm like, Diana sis, before you were rich, I'm sure you were going into stores to get clothes, okay? And I'm also sure that when you first met your husband, when he was giving you money, giving you his credit card to go shopping, you were going inside of stores. So what are you saying? You don't have to lie like this, sis. It's okay. Just tell the truth. I'm friends with people who have the money that Diana has. They were born into it, and they go to stores. They go shopping. They are going inside of Saks, Neiman Marcus, Bergdorf's. They are shopping. So, Diana, please cut it out saying that you've never set foot in a store. You sound dumb, and we know that you're lying. I'm just not feeling this pretentious, let me just seem like I'm so out of touch, I'm just so rich, I don't do this, I don't do that. It's like, Diana, you don't have to lie. And it's also very sad to see somebody with the money that Diana has and is still a try-hard. It's like, girl, you're doing way too much, calm down. So now we flip on over to Kyle and Dorit. They're on their way to Sutton's party, and while they're in the car, they're discussing the text that they got from Rinna. Unfortunately, Lisa Rinna's mom, Lois, had a stroke, and Lisa had to fly back home to be with her mom, take care of her. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm going to breeze past this because you guys know dealing with my father's death, it's a lot. Anytime we have to talk about someone passing away, somebody being in hospice care, I get very emotional. So I was really sad to hear that. And knowing that Rinna's mom did pass away, and we're going to see that in later episodes, I can't do it. Like, I get very emotional. You guys know I don't want to cry on here. So, yeah, we're going to just breeze past that. My heart definitely did go out to Rinna in that moment because she did the right thing, being by her mom's side versus going to a party where they're all going to be fighting anyhow. So they changed gears in the conversation, and Kyle gets a picture of some guy taking pictures of her house. And so she's getting nervous. She's like, let's just assume it's paparazzi. Dorit's like, what if it was somebody trying to case your house to rob? And did you guys catch Kyle looking at her like, girl, don't even say that. Because remember that Kyle did get robbed a few seasons ago. So I know she's not trying to think about another robbery happening yet again. And then it kind of felt a bit fake when Dorit was like, you know what? I'm getting triggered right now, so I'm going to do some deep breathing. I was like, girl, it just gives very much theatrics. I'm just not really buying this, Dorit. It seems like you're really trying to oversell it, that you were robbed and that you're really hurt and really traumatized, and it's falling flat. So while everybody's arriving to the party, we cut to a short scene with Erica at home with her creative director and her assistant. She's going on and on about how she's happy that she's not going to Sutton's party. She doesn't want to fake it and pretend like she's happy to be there. And it's like, but were you even invited? Like I said, for you to dislike Sutton the way you claim, for you to be so unbothered by Sutton, then why do you care so much? You're always bringing her up in every scene. Like I said, when you're truly over somebody, you're indifferent about them. And the fact that Erica keeps bringing Sutton's name up in every conversation shows that Sutton lives in her brain rent-free. So now we flip back to the party. Garcelle, Crystal, and Diana have arrived. And while Crystal is not one of my favorites, this look was everything. I loved the outfit. I loved her hair being slicked back. And I loved her makeup. Definitely one of her best looks. So anyhow, we see Sutton introducing everybody to Alexis Mobile, remember her French designer friend. And when she was introducing Diana to Alexis, Diana is just so dry and just so stiff. It was like, girl, can you say anything more than hello? Like, she's just so weird. Diana is very unlikable. And when she was like, well, my apartment in London is designed by Armani, and my apartment in Paris is designed by Fendi. And it was like, okay, and what's your point? She really has no personality. Like, her personality is just that she has a lot of money. She's always name dropping. And side note, I loved how one of you guys pointed out how tacky it was for Diana to bring up that she was with Kim Kardashian when Kim was robbed, when they were all telling her about Dorit and PK's robbery. Like, who does that? She just finds a way to name drop every chance she gets. I can't stand people like that. There is nothing wrong with being rich. There's nothing wrong with having nice things, but it is a problem when you make that your entire identity. And when you're always name dropping and trying to brag. It's very off-putting. So now Kyle and Dorit finally arrive, and as they're walking into the store, there's a step and repeat and there's press. So Dorit is upset that Sutton has press there, and she says that Sutton should have given her the heads up because since she's dealing with this case, with this robbery, she can't speak on it. So I'm like, Dorit, you do know that you guys are being filmed right now for a top reality show. So what the F are you talking about? You can't be around the press. Like, just walk into the store then. Nobody's forcing you to talk to anybody. And this press is to get press for her store. So how dare you say that she should have given you the heads up about press being there? You sound crazy. So Dorit goes right into the store. She bypasses the press. And of course, Kyle will never miss the opportunity to be in front of a camera. So she is right there in front of that step and repeat, talking to those reporters. And she's answering questions about Dorit's break-in. I said, no, Kyle, you didn't have to talk to the press. You could have just walked right in with Dorit too. And Kyle low-key swears that she's Dorit's spokesperson now, because I would have said, look, I'm not talking about Dorit's break-in. If you want to talk to me, ask me questions about what's going on in my life, okay? So now Kyle finally comes on into the store, and she pulls Sutton aside. She's like, Sutton, are you and Crystal okay? Because Crystal came over to my house in La Quinta the other day, and she told me that you had said some really dark things. So Sutton says, look, I don't know why we're moving backwards. I just want to move forward. And honestly, I didn't say anything that I'd be ashamed of. So now Garcelle walks over to the both of them, and she already knows what this conversation is about because anytime you see Kyle, you know she's relaying some bad news. So Garcelle says, look, Sutton, Crystal alluded that you were saying some really crazy things, and if that's the case, I need to know what, because it could change our dynamic. And now Garcelle says, girl, watch your back with your new friend. Then Garcelle goes on to say that friendship is about trust, and the minute that Crystal felt cornered, she threw Sutton under the bus. I completely agree with that because I honestly feel like Crystal is somebody who just blows with the wind. She's not on anybody's team per se. She wants to be in with the cool girls, and the cool girls, in her opinion, are Kyle, Rinna, Dorit, and Erica. And she wants to be in with them very badly. So if she has to throw Sutton or Garcelle under the bus, she'll gladly do that. So Sutton says, look, I just want us to have a good time tonight. I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. Like, please. So now Kyle's like, I'm just so confused because the Sutton I knew last year was crying about every little thing, and now she's just cool about this. And it's like, Kyle, you want everybody to be hysterically crying like you? Why are you so pressed about Sutton's reactions? It's a good thing if Sutton isn't falling apart at everything the way she was last year. That's what we call growth. Why are you so bothered that she's handling things better? So now Sutton walks away to tend to her party as she should because she's the hostess. And now Kyle and Garcelle walk over to the couch and they're talking. And Kyle says, look, anytime you throw an allegation like Crystal did the other day, everybody's going to assume the worst. And while I don't like Kyle, she's absolutely correct in this regard. And especially in this group, with all the microaggressions that have taken place, and with Crystal being the only Asian woman on this cast, and Garcelle being the only Black woman on this cast, of course everybody's mind is going to go towards race. So Crystal needs to be very careful about what she's throwing out there. So now Crystal walks over, she already looks nervous, and she's asking them what they're talking about. So Kyle says, girl, we're talking about you and what you threw out when you were at La Quinta about how Sutton said something so awful and dark. So Crystal says to Kyle, well, Kyle, you don't remember that. So now Kyle gets upset and she's like, Crystal, stop telling me I don't remember that. And another reason why I think that Crystal isn't telling the truth, because we know how messy Kyle is. Had Sutton said something really crazy, Kyle would have repeated it to everybody who would have listened, and she would have tried to use it to get Sutton off the show. So at this point, Garcelle's pissed too. She's like, Crystal, just tell me what was said, because my mind has gone to the absolute worst. Like, I need to know right now, because this could destroy me and Sutton's friendship if it's about race. Like, tell me right now what was said. I definitely felt Garcelle's pain. Garcelle was annoyed, like, sis, let me know right now, because I am not trying to be friends with somebody who secretly hates me and my race. So if she said something crazy, let me know right now so that I can end this friendship. So of course, Crystal won't say what it is, and in my personal opinion, Crystal looked really guilty. And when she kept saying, no, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to say it, like, it's just super dark. I mean, it is just super dark. I don't want to say what it is. Like, I've said too much. I don't want to open up Pandora's box. Like, it's forgivable, it's fine. And I'm like, but sis, make it make sense. Because if it's super dark and evil, then how is it forgivable? If Sutton was saying some slurs or something, we need to know. And in my opinion, if somebody who's not black calls me the N-word or something crazy, that's not forgivable in my opinion. Okay? So let's be really clear. Is what she said dark or not? And the way you were in Sutton's ass about the whole I don't see color comment, I really can't see you letting any other craziness slide. So again, I think that Crystal is lying. So now Sutton comes over. She looks visibly worried because she already knows what they're talking about. So now Sutton says, look, I just want to move forward. I learned a lot from last year. I apologize for it. Like, I just want us all to just, be at peace and have a clean slate. So now Kyle says, that's nice and all, Sutton, but I think you're thinking that you said something worse than what it actually was. Then Kyle says in her confessional that she thinks that Sutton is nervous, that she might have accidentally said something. Now she doesn't remember what she said, and that's why she wants this whole conversation to end. Now that could be a possibility, but like I said, with the cameras rolling, the mics were still on, Kyle was standing right there when they were having that conversation last year, I just don't believe that Sutton would have been able to walk away scot-free had she said something crazy. So now Dorit chimes in and says, Crystal, you just can't make accusations like this and then say, I don't want to say anything. Like, you know what you're doing, and what you're doing is very messed up. And honestly, I would have cursed out Crystal for this, because you sitting up here accusing someone of saying something crazy, but now you don't want to say what was said. So now Crystal gets mad at Garcelle, and she says that nobody has the right to tell her not to use the word dark. And I said, Crystal, please shut up. You have lost all your credibility, because if Sutton really did go there, then you would have said it already. Because there is no way in hell that Sutton's over here saying some racist stuff and you're going to let that just roll off your back. I don't believe it. How are you trying to demonize Sutton, but yet protect her by saying, I don't want to say it, it's just so bad, but it's forgivable? Like, girl, what? It makes no sense. You could have single-handedly destroyed Sutton's character and reputation by an accusation like that. If Sutton really did say something, say it with your chest, stop being a coward, and reveal what was said verbatim. But to throw a rock and hide your hand and be like, oh no, I don't want to say it, I don't want to start any drama, that is not right, and you know it. And I'm glad that everybody called you out. And then we get to the final scene of the episode, and it's Dorit at home with her therapist, and she's going over the robbery, doing some breathing exercises, and she's crying. Y'all, I don't know how much longer I can hear about this robbery. They have another 2-3 episodes before I'm like, okay, it's enough already. This robbery cannot be Dorit's entire storyline all season long. I'm sorry. And then it doesn't help things that everybody's looking at Dorit and PK like, y'all did that to secure an insurance check to pay off your debts. But anyhow, that was the episode, guys. Baby, Crystal had my blood boiling. I just really couldn't believe it. I was like, Crystal, you have some explaining to do because this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I want Andy to press you about what was said at this reunion because we, the people, want to know. But y'all, thank you so much for watching my recap. I hope you all enjoyed it. And as always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.